Welcome home to USA Global TV and Radio, a place where dreams take flight, with authentic storytelling, diverse perspectives and meaningful conversations, where global stories unite and bridges are built beyond all borders. Discover world-class education, entertainment, hope and inspiration. Together, we're building bridges worldwide. Subscribe to our channel, USA Global TV. Download our app, USA Global TV. Be our guest or join our team. Visit usaglobaltv.com. Thanks to our founder and executive producer, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Music score by Yeffy Tang from Cloud Road Music. Voiceover artist Mike Porter. Creative direction by Paul Garcia. USA Global TV and Radio, your home for global connection. All rights reserved. This video and its contents are the exclusive property of USA Global TV and Radio. Unauthorized use, duplication or redistribution in any form is strictly prohibited.
Hello and welcome. Hopefully it's welcome back to USA Global TV and Radio, where we proudly provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, and I want to personally thank each and every one of you who are watching our shows, who are following us across the various platforms, who have downloaded our app on Amazon, and who have helped us get over 102,000 subscribers on our one YouTube channel, which is USA Global TV and Radio, and over 27,000 followers, subscribers on our second channel, which is Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. We really do appreciate you. Hello to all of our friends at E360 TV. Thank you so much for distributing our show to your viewers. Today's show, A Woman's Prerogative, is one of our top performing shows, and we really appreciate everyone who is writing in with ideas and people who are making comments on the platforms. Our topic today is an interesting one, and it was created and thought of by the star of our show, MARISKA, who's joining us very soon. She is in Australia, and as I always like to say, she's a day ahead of us, season ahead of us. So we get to find out what to expect in the future. She's a fortune teller. No, I'm kidding. So our topic today is one habit to embrace and one to release. Small changes, big results. Let's welcome MARISKA. She is a leadership coach. She's also a transformation coach. She's been with me since the very beginning. We started together taking a life coaching course that was offered by Goal Imagery, I believe, and we both got certified. And she took her coaching to a whole different level, ICF, PCC. She's also an author. We've co-authored a number of books together, and we've actually written a song together with our dear friend, Dr. Madeline Chan. So let's welcome the transformation queen and leadership expert, MARISKA Dupria. Hello.
Hello. Wow, queen. Thank you.
Yes, queen it is. How are you today?
I am really well. And as you mentioned, seasons-wise, we are on literally opposite ends, day ahead. Even time-wise, you are in the evening and I am in the morning. So we are doing everything a little bit paradoxical.
Good word.
Yeah,
I love it. And, you know, I really appreciate your flexibility because you've been doing this show for a very long time. I was talking to Caroline today, and you're one of the first people who've been on the show as well. And sometimes you've had to do the show really early or really late because of the time difference. And just remind our viewers, how many hours are you ahead of New York time?
Ooh, ahead? I think it's very close to 12 or 13, there roundabouts, quite a bit. So currently you guys are Monday evening. I am Tuesday morning. So I already started my day. I think the only time zone line that starts their day a little bit earlier than we do is the guys in New Zealand.
And that was you.
That was me, yes.
Yeah, because I think at one point we were, depending on the seasons, we were 16 hours apart, and then we were 18 hours apart. And for our friends who were on the West Coast of the United States, that's another 3 hours. So it really is amazing that we're able to do this show together and provide world-class education to so many people around the world. Mariska, I want to give you the opportunity to share a little bit about how you can help our audience, and who would you like to reach out to, and then we'll get into the topic.
So, as you mentioned, Dr. JACALYN, I'm a leadership and transformation coach and partner. So what does that entail? Well, if you are within the leadership space or thinking about stepping into leadership, that's where I assist. And as leaders, you may or may not be aware of the fact that it can sometimes get really, really lonely. There's things that we need to try and figure out for ourselves as a human, as a leader, that we can't necessarily openly share with anybody and everybody. Especially when it's stuff that it's around our own belief system about things, or our own way of thinking about things that may or may not be working for us. So that's where I come in to help you in order to be able to work through how you want to show up as a leader. What would that look like for you within your space? What would work best? And then going and trying it out. And of course, during our conversations, we also try out a few things to see. It's almost like going to a shop where you can put on a few jackets, put it on, see whether it fits, see whether you like it. And if you don't, that's fine. Then we take it off and we put something else on. So that's some of the process that we go through within the coaching space. And that is also who I help. And of course, if you want to get hold of me, you can do so via my email, which is at the bottom there. It's mariska@journey2discover.com, or alternatively, LinkedIn is a great place to also find me. And that for now is me, because I really want to get into this topic.
All right, let's do it. And for our audio audience only, people listening on podcast, Mariska is Mariska. Woo. All right, so you came up with this topic. Is there something that you are going through in your life, or something that you are looking to let go of or looking to embrace? I know for me, when I come up with titles, a lot of times it's something that's going on with me. Or did you just come up with this topic?
Well, this specific one, as we mentioned a little bit earlier on, I moved from New Zealand to Australia. And of course, with the move, everything is on its head, or sideways, or back way, or just not even existing. So I've been slowly but surely stepping back into routines. Another thing that is sort of gently forcing me to get back into routines is my cat. You may or may not know that I have one, and you may or may not know that cats actually like routine. So if they don't have some form of routine in their life, they can get upset about it. And no, they do not do it the way that children would do it, by throwing a tantrum. They will show you in other ways, and sometimes it's a little bit unpleasant, like not using the litter tray. So currently, I am sitting with exactly that problem, because, and I still need to figure out what exactly it is that I did or didn't do that it is or isn't liking at the moment. But because of that, I did a whole bunch of research on cats, and that's not why we are on the show, but around routine and why it is that they do this, and how to help them and potentially help me. So I thought, you know what? Why not bring this to the show and explore what it is that I could bring into my life for a little bit more routine, and maybe take out of my life for something that's not serving me as much. And I would love to also find out from you, Dr. JACALYN, what that might be for you.
Yeah, it's an interesting topic. I'm glad that you came up with it, because it really caused me to think about the habits that I have. And something I want to share before I get into my specific desire when it comes to this is, I've moved many times. I think I've moved, 20 some times since the 90s. And for most of the time, I had the type of bedding, a comforter that you would just throw on. And I've always been the kind of person who makes their bed every day. That's like really a priority to me. And before I leave to do anything, everything has to be in order, has to be meticulous. I'm very structured and disciplined. In fact, my family came here to see me over the weekend and they're like, your place looks like a museum. Everything is perfect and not like they didn't want to touch anything. But there was a point when I got some bedding that takes a lot of work. And that's what I have now. I've had it for a number of years, but I put it away for a while. And the point being, when I had the bedding that was the comforter and you just kind of throw it there, you throw the pillows on top, I felt like my life was not as disciplined and structured as it is now, because the bedding that I have now, I actually have to stand and make sure that certain things, because it has 3 things that get folded over and they all are different legs. So I have to make sure they're all lined up and I have a lint brush to make sure. And then I've got all these pillows that go in different ways and they have to be all lined up, and I'll study from this end and that end. And it sounds insane. And there was actually a movie with Jennifer Aniston, something about Polly, Along Came Polly or something, where the main Ben Stiller, he was married to this woman in the movie and she had all these pillows on the bed. And then he started seeing Jennifer Aniston's character and they took a knife and just like chopped up all the pillows and everything. But the whole point of what I'm saying is it's a habit that I have every day. And also, I'm not a napper, but I could never imagine taking a nap because I would never mess up the bedding. So I feel like because that is so structured and I'm so disciplined, that's makes sense as to why the rest of my life is like that. What do you think?
I love the bedding. My cats would love the bedding, and hence why I don't have that type of bedding.
Of course.
I have the comforter. I also have the routine of pulling everything ready after a night's rest. It's so much, I find it so much better to go back to bed that evening and then finding a bed that's made and it sort of feels inviting for me.
Yes.
So it's like, oh yeah, this is somebody took care of doing this.
Yes.
I know it was me, but still.
No, it makes a difference. I agree with you.
Yeah. And I'm also with you on the, when I'm going away, I would like to at least leave the house in a semblance of order so that I know that everything's put away and there's nothing standing around or being unnecessarily cluttery. I also have one of these little RoboVacs. So what I normally do is when we go away, I would set up my RoboVac to start to vacuum a day or so before we come back. Then the floor is also nice and clean. So very good little RoboVac. It, of course, also sometimes gets stuck, which not so good.
How cool is that you actually have a robot cleaning for you while you're away? I love it.
Yeah, it's really, really good. Except, of course, when it gets stuck, then it only does half the house. But for the most part, it does it really well. So that's things that I really enjoy doing, and sort of get upset if I'm not able to. So what I have started doing more of is plan it in for myself, so that I can stay within that routine. And that works really well. It is, however, only every once in a while when I go away. So what I was thinking is, especially with the little habits that I want to start up again and seeing as we moved, is I would really, really love to start doing some yoga again. I did loads of yoga back in New Zealand. I did a lot of yoga when we were in Blenheim, started back up with that. And then we moved and my whole yoga routine is just out the door at the moment. So that's something I think I want to pick back up. For one thing that I would like to do, not too sure how the cats would handle that, but that's their problem.
That's right. I remember when I had dogs, I would be told by family members, you're the one in charge. It's not the dogs. But we sort of give in to our pets. So my bedding is not pet friendly in any regard. I had 3 dogs at the same time, and I didn't have this bedding then. But there's no way they would be on this bedding. No way whatsoever. But something else, like this is a habit that I think I will always want to keep. And I got this from my father. My father always took care of his things. And if you spend some money on something, you want to take care of it. Because if you don't, there's 2 different philosophies. And it's funny because one of my parents felt one way and one felt the other way. So if you spend some amount of money, I'm not going to determine what it is, on something, and that to you was a significant amount of money. It could be $10, it could be $100, whatever it was. And you don't take care of that, then that's kind of like a waste. Whereas the other philosophy is buy cheap, just beat it to death and get rid of it. So my dad was always of the other mindset to take care of your things. So I really do take care of my things. In fact, I have a lot of high-heeled shoes that I don't wear anymore. And I've had some of them since the 90s, and they're all boxed. And every time, like, they're in a see-through box so I can see what they're, but I've taken care of them. And I've been able to, over the years, even dresses and things, personal items, I've been able to sell them on eBay and OfferUp and other platforms, Facebook, because I take care of my things. So that is a habit that I want to continue. And I have a number of things from my father and my mother when they passed away, and I have them in a china cabinet. So they're on display because they were taken care of for so many years, and I can't use them per se, but I want them to be taken care of maybe for the next generation. I don't know.
Yeah. I love your dad's philosophy of taking care of things. I'm of the same ilk, so to speak, because for me, it makes more sense to buy something that's going to last versus buying something cheap that typically, you only use it about once or twice, and then you have to throw it away. To me, that adds to just junk in general, which is already problematic enough as it is. And now I need to go and buy another thing, whatever the thing was that I bought. So to me, it doesn't quite make sense to do it that way. I know, for instance, that with my husband loves tools. Like, I think most men, I'm not going to generalize, but there's a lot of guys out there, and you guys just love your tools, especially within the engineering field where I come from. We like tinkering. What can I say? And because we do, we continuously use the thing, whatever the tool might be. And I have seen that some people will just buy a cheap set of screwdrivers or whatever it is, right? But as I mentioned, you will only use it a couple of times, and then you need to replace it in any case. And I don't know, we have stuff that we literally brought from South Africa, and it's still with us years and years and years later. And they just last and last and last. And that's what I want when I have anything. And Dr. JACALYN, as you mentioned, taking care of them, then make them last so much longer. So yes, I love that. And that includes fashion items, because I'm not the type that just buys something because it's in fashion.
We're on the same page with that for sure. Absolutely. So we're both in agreement on that. Now, when it comes to giving something up, this just happened today. And I don't know that this is a small thing. I think it's a bigger thing. But someone came up to me and in this workout place and was just standing there looking at me after class. And she said, "You're a legend." And I said, "I'm sorry, what?" And she said, "You're a legend." She said, "I look at what you're doing and how strong you are, and I just think to myself, I want to be like you." So my immediate thing is to put myself down. That's what I always do. Instead of, thank you, but there's always a but. And as I walked out of there, I actually had like little tears in my eyes because I thought, how nice and kind. And then I probably made her, you can't make someone feel something, but the way I reacted was not the greatest. So I want to stop beating myself up. And I've said that before, but at times we need a little reminder. And it really meant something that she said that to me, because she looks at me and thinks that I'm so strong. And I am very strong, but that's because the curveballs that life has shown me, and I've had to show up and deal with it. So I'm just going to say thank you. I appreciate it. Sometimes if someone gives me a compliment, I'll say, oh, but you are too. Whether I know that that person is whatever or not, I just feel immediately like I have to say something, because why should I get the spotlight?
It's an interesting response that I remember having myself. And I cannot remember. I think my husband, well, we weren't married at the time, but at the time he said, why don't you just say thank you? Just that. You don't need to add anything to it or disqualify it or do anything with it. Just thank you. That's it. It's like when somebody gives you a gift, right? They gift wrapped it, they put a nice bow on it, and they give it to you. And then you say, thank you, but blah, 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 whatever the but is. Or the, oh, no, but this is actually yours. No, they gave it to you.
Yes, they gave it to you. And by the way, on the Power of Etiquette and Manners, Philip Sykes show, we've had this conversation about proper etiquette. And proper etiquette is to say thank you. I will, in addition to putting myself down about whatever it is, or saying the same thing about the other person, sometimes I, like if it's about clothing, for example, someone just said they really liked my sneakers. Everything I have is bling. And and then the person also said that, my hair things are bling. And I said, you know what? I must have been very insecure when I was younger that I need so much attention.
I don't know.
Like, why did I say that?
You really like sparkly stuff.
I do. I'm not the person that's hiding in the corner. You see me coming because I'm always blinged out. And I just had this conversation with somebody too about my jewelry and about my nails. My nails are really long. I like them long. But a lot of people don't like them long, and they want to tell me they don't like them long. And I just look and go, I like them. I'm not changing it. So it's interesting in that case that I feel confident enough to say I'm not changing that. But for other things, it doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm not a therapist. Maybe you could analyze me. Tell me what's going on.
Well, I find it interesting that when it's the opposite, right? It's almost I don't like this, the other person, of course, I don't like this. And then the response back is, well, I do. So yes. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Whereas when it's a compliment and it's I do like what you're doing. Oh, no, now I need to think of an excuse. Why do we do that?
I don't know. It has to be some kind of insecurity but you know what? Going back to this workout, you know what it is because I've been doing it for years. I think that I keep going. I have 1,033 classes now. It's always hard. And I feel like because I have so many classes, and at this studio in this location, it hasn't been open that long. So there's no possible way that anyone, unless they came from some other studio, that they could have anywhere near the amount of classes that I have, because they haven't been open for more than a few months. And you have to go for years. If there's 365 days in a year and you went every single day, it's not even possible. So anyway, part of the reason why I know that I do go there is because I feel great about myself, because I know that I'm inspiring people and I know that I'm continuously pushing myself. So why, when someone gives me a compliment, do I handle it that way? It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it sounds like maybe a habit that's not serving, that just needs to change.
Yes. Break. Let's break it. By the way, I wanted to tell you, we're going to get into what you want to break or what you want to keep. I did investigate flower arranging, and I did find something for us. So I'll get back to you on that. Okay, so let's go over to you. Something you want to keep or you want to get rid of?
Let's see. Break. I think for me, I have a tendency to sometimes procrastinate on stuff. And the worst part is, I know I'm procrastinating, very aware of the fact that I procrastinate on it. And I'm very aware of the fact that it's not good because it's going to lead me down all sorts of not good ways and potentially even get me in trouble. And yet I still do it. So that's a habit of sorts that I want to break. I want to not do that anymore. I have been working on this for some time. It is very slow going. So that's something that I would like to change of me. And like with all habits, and I don't know about you, Dr. JACALYN, but typically those things that we have in a habit pattern already, first to get them into a habit pattern, I find sometimes quite tricky. And then to get them out of a habit pattern can just be as tricky. So do you have any tips on how to not do a thing that is a habit or to start doing things that we want to have habits?
Absolutely. So the first thing I want to say, because I'm not a medical doctor, so I'm going to give a disclaimer that sometimes people have habits that are more than habits. They're addictions, right? So we're not talking about that. We're talking about habits that we ourselves have the ability to change. And I know that you have to go 21 days or 30 days. I've heard all of this. But to me, what I look at is the why. Why do I want to change this? And what will my life look like after I do? So I use visualization and I just imagine myself getting rid of, say, this self-deprecative talk, this negative talk when I get a compliment. So what would that look like? Would the conversation possibly go further? Because I think when someone gives you a compliment and then you put yourself down or you're not worthy of it, where's the conversation going to go? Because then is the other person responsible for picking you back up? They gave you a compliment. They gave you the gift, as you said. Then you basically took the gift and threw it in the trash. And now they're standing there going, well, now I feel ridiculous that I gave a gift and it was thrown away. So I wonder if there would be more conversations or possibility of more connections or friendships if I got rid of this self-deprecative talk about I'm not good enough.
That's a good question. So thinking about my procrastination habit, I'm thinking the thing that would change for me, utilizing your technique there. Well, the why I want to change it, first of all, is it's not serving me. It's really not serving me, even though I might think that it's serving me. Because one of the excuses, and it is an excuse that I make up a lot of the time, is I need more time for whatever the thing is, right? And then I just don't do it because I need more time, which technically speaking, I don't really need more time. I've got all the things that I need to do. I can just sit down and do it. Just procrastinating on doing it. What I have also discovered is normally when I procrastinate, there's some emotional something attached to it. So either I'm finding it overwhelming because I haven't sorted out where it starts and where it ends, or I'm finding it boring. If it's boring, I typically don't want to do it. There's some or other emotional attachment. So I think for me, that would be it. So just identifying the emotional thing that is preventing me from doing it and remembering that that's what I need to do. And then seeing how I'm going to overcome that emotional whatever it is. Not sure what to do with the boredom one. Maybe I need to just make it interesting. and then move on and do it. So that's actually a good step. Oh, thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. I'm going to try that out and see how it works.
Look at all the progress we're making. Look at us. Well, something else I'd like to offer up, because I think this is something that's helped me a lot in the last few years, and I actually learned it from someone who was on this platform, is when something's coming up, many times there's a lot of emotion that comes with it. Just dealing with people can be an emotional ride, right? It's people giving you their baggage and their stories and everything. And so now I say to myself, when it's my life and there's something coming up for me, how can I keep my emotions in check and find the solution? And I do the same thing I just mentioned to you for the other thing is I think to myself, okay, let's say right now, let's say StreamYard knocked me out, because that's happened over the years. And also when I'm doing the production, which I'm doing, I many times have to go up and down this toolbar, so to speak, and I might go hit the mouse and it sends me out. And that's happened a number of times. So what I did was I quickly went on my phone and put myself in. And then I noticed that was a problem because it put me immediately into the stream instead of putting me backstage. So I contacted the platform and I just said, hey, when these things happen, what is there that I can do? And what I learned was the show keeps going on, whether I'm here or not. Only I can open it and close it, as well as our producers. But it would just keep going on. So there was no need to panic at that moment. And if I couldn't get back on, let's say the Wi-Fi is down and I can't get back on the computer or something, then I would use my phone and contact the host and or the guest and say, yeah, there's a technology problem. I'll be back as soon as possible. So it's always about looking for solutions, because when our emotions become so high, we can't really think rationally anymore. And as somebody that coaches people, do you find that happens to people, that they become so emotionally on overload, they can't think rationally?
Yep. There's a lot of people think that, well, we just need to reason this out, right? It's all rational. It's all in our heads. And we are emotional beings. Yes, we can reason, and there's a lot of emotion attached. There's a reason why that thing is important to you, whatever the thing is. And the importance that it has an emotional attachment. It's not just important for no reason. So any emotion that we feel in a very high amount, whether this is very angry or very happy, will have an impact on the way that we think and behave and do things. So understanding that the emotion is influencing us in whatever it is that's happening at that moment is very helpful, because one, if we can identify the emotion, right, we can then see what sort of message it's trying to tell us. So to give you an example again with my procrastination, I have figured out that there's certain emotional states. If I'm in that emotional state, the likelihood of me acting, so my behavior being procrastinating, is increased when I'm in that state of emotion. That's attached to that thing, right? The task that I need to do, or the conversation I need to have, or whatever the thing might be. And typically also, because it's an emotion, I have the ability to blow it up and make it a lot bigger than it actually is. So some things that I've found for myself, and I've also found with my clients, that's very, very helpful, especially when it comes to emotion. It's one, first, just identify it, right? Just figure out what sort of emotion it is. There's wonderful charts on Google where you can get an emotional chart, and you can sort of, if you're not sure and you have a very limited emotional vocabulary, go and have a look at a chart and then identify the emotion according to the chart, right? Then after you've identified it, you can just breathe into it. Feel where it is in your body. We typically hold emotions somewhere in ourselves. So feel where you might feel it in your body. So maybe if you get angry, your chest might feel very puffed, or your hands might feel very warm, or your face might feel very warm and clenched jaws. If you're very happy, you might feel very elated. So noticing where it is in your body, and then just breathing into that space, right? Just breathe into it. That's it. And then after that, typically it takes the body about, now I'm not accurate on this, but I think it's about 2 minutes. They did some research on it so that your body can change its state. So by changing its state, it changes the emotion that it's experiencing. By breathing into that part of your body, you change the state, you lower the emotion that you're experiencing. And then we can actually move into something that is more productive and creative, potentially, or at least on a more even-keeled level, and we can start to move into action in a more appropriate way than just being a bull in a china shop or a very angry person for no good reason. And in saying that, Dr. JACALYN, is there anything that you found work really well?
Well, first of all, I just want to say it's obvious why you're so successful helping leaders and helping people transform, because you've got a great philosophy that's tried and true, that you have the experience to instill in other people, to give them the option. So something else that I just want to mention, I actually saw this on social media, so I can't take credit for it, but I saw Anthony Hopkins, I believe. Do you know who he is? The actor?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love him. He was giving his ideas of the best approach to looking at life. And maybe it's not the best, maybe whatever the approach is. And the first is not regretting the past, not beating yourself up about the past. And I know I've done that to myself a zillion times. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is not worrying about the future. And I think I remember seeing the quote, 88% of all the things that we worry about never happen. And the last one is living your life with joy and finding things that truly make you happy, and the things that you're interested in, go ahead and pursue them. And I think when we look at something to release and something to keep, maybe releasing our regrets from the past, and maybe releasing our worry about the future and keeping the things that bring us joy.
I love that. I love that.
I can't take credit for it. I just put it into the show. So
we will give Anthony credit for it and thank him for bringing that to us. Even if we didn't, because I didn't see said TikTok or social media post. Yes, Instagram post, but he still brought it through you. So thank you for sharing that. And yes.
Thank you very much, Anthony Hopkins. I follow him on Instagram because I think he's in his 80s now, but he's always happy. He's always singing and he's always smiling. And he's been through a lot in his life. And I think he just lost his house in out in LA County, one of his homes, I think. But he's an incredible actor. And he just, I feel, I don't know him personally, but I just like what he posts. I feel like it adds a lot of value. So that's why I'm following him. Mariska, we are out of time. I mean, it seems like it just started. It's crazy. So what are some things that you'd like to share with the audience before we close out today? Anything coming up for you?
Well, I think seeing as our topic is a habit to embrace and one to release, thinking about what that might be for you. I know that procrastination definitely high on my list. But think about what that might be for you. And it might be something big, or it might be something small. And Dr. JACALYN, I love the rest of this title about small changes, big results. We only need to do something very, very little. But if we do that very, very little thing constantly, and that's what a habit is, right? We do the thing constantly. It makes a big difference over time. So start with something small. Think about what that thing is for you. whether it is something that you want to start doing or stop doing, and then take the first step. And we've got you. And if you have no idea what that's going to be, you can get hold of me or Dr. JACALYN, and we can work through it together and see what it might be for you. While I am working on my procrastination stuff, and Dr. JACALYN would be working on her stuff. Oh, yes. And of course, if you are a leader or stepping into leadership, also make sure to go and check out my website. Oop, other way, that way, there you go. You can find me there, and there is all sorts of different resources on there as well. You can also get hold of me via my form, or alternatively, you can utilize my email address, which is mariska@journey2discover.com. And as Dr. JACALYN said, if you don't know how to spell my name, it's MARISKA. And you can also find me on LinkedIn. So there, I'm Mariska du Preez, and we can start our conversation through direct messaging. Nice and easy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And I do want to make our audience aware of the fact that all of our shows end up streaming live. Then they become podcasts on the podcast platforms. And then we do some magic slicing and dicing editing, and we edit them into short clips. And the short clips, it's amazing because on the second channel, Dr. JACALYN KERBECK, we have no search engine optimization at the moment, but we have over 1,500, 1,700 views like consistently on a lot of these shorts. And one of them was one that's from one of our shows as well. So it's interesting. People like short, that they like it less than 2 minutes. And some people like the longer quantity. So now we've got something for everyone, hopefully. So please do keep watching, and please do subscribe. We're going to log off now. We're going to come back with You as a Whole, Body, Mind, and Soul with Justin Merigliani. Thank you to E360 TV. Thank you, Mariska, for another fabulous show. And we will be signing off without going to our sponsors for now. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Thank you, viewers and listeners of USA Global TV and Radio, for joining us today. We're honoured to have your time and attention as part of our global community. At USA Global TV and Radio, we believe in the power of authentic conversations, meaningful connections, and creating a world of possibilities together. Want to be part of something bigger? Join our team of elevated listeners at usaglobaltv.com, a space where your voice matters and your ability to listen transforms relationships. Stay connected with us across all our platforms for thought-provoking discussions, expert insights, and empowering stories. Subscribe to our channels at youtube.com/c/usaglobaltv. Follow us on social media and explore the endless opportunities we're creating for growth, learning, and inspiration. Together, we're not just broadcasting. We're building bridges and changing lives one conversation at a time. For inquiries, contact us at info@usaglobaltv.com. Music by Johnny Dies. Produced by Executive Producer and Director Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. Voiceover by Mike Porter. Creative Direction by Paul Garcia. All rights reserved. Copyright 2025. Visit usaglobaltv.com to view our full terms and conditions.